the culture, from what I can see, came from Fort Detrick. But again, assuming any of this information coming out is correct, 25% of it came from Fort Detrick, and 75% of it came from the Dugway Proving Ground, run by the Army, and with the CIA and Battelle working there. So my guess is that the culture itself came from Fort Detrick, and then it was shipped out to Dugway to be weaponized. That is to turn it into a trillion spores per gram, the aerosolization, the adding it on the silica covering, which involved nanotechnology, and then the electrostatic charges.
How ridiculous is it?
I believe it was weaponized at Dugway. I don't believe it was weaponized at Fort Detrick per se.
How ridiculous is it for them
So we have a team of people here working on this. It's not simply a question of one or two or three people.
And that's why we have all these big top bioweapon scientists saying, you're claiming that Ivins was able to make this in his basement, that he was able to get something and then weaponize it. They're saying that's ridiculous because they know what it takes, don't they?
Sure, it's completely preposterous. Even Mr. Spertzel, who used to head up Fort Detrick, said it can't be done. So, I think most of these scientists involved in the investigation, like me, probably assumed the FBI was dealing with them in good faith, but that simply isn't the case.
Has this changed your view of the world, working on this case, seeing this and seeing how the federal government's been behaving?
No, not really. I'm 58 years old. I've seen, going back to the Kennedy assassination, the two Kennedy assassinations, and the King assassination. This doesn't surprise me at all.
I was just saying because you said that you thought the FBI would do something, but I guess you weren't thinking they were involved. We're going to skip this break, too, with our guest. We'll be back in the final segment. The only place to listen to the behind the scenes is the Infowars.com stream. You got to go over to the site and click on that stream, folks. Okay, Dr. Boyle, this has been an amazing interview, and I just want you in the next 6-7 minutes or so to cover any other key points, any other areas, any websites you want to plug. You've got the floor.
Well, I have a book on the subject called Biowarfare and Terrorism, Clarity Press, which you can read, that sets out the case and the basic points that I'm making here today. And everything I'm saying in there has been confirmed by the latest revelations. In addition, since that book went to press, I have reviewed the Pentagon's report to Congress on their chemical and biological warfare programs, and it's very clear they are engaged in the development and use of anthrax as a weapon of warfare. It is also clear, if you read through there, the Pentagon in this biowarfare programs is now testing open-air testing, which is something that Congress passed a statute to prohibit, and yet there was put in there a presidential waiver. So we have to understand the stockpile of this super weapons-grade anthrax is still there, probably at Dugway or perhaps Battelle in Ohio, and waiting to be used again when the Pentagon and the CIA decide they want to terrorize the American people. Cheney has said if there's another terrorist attack, he'll blame it on Iran. There's an election coming up that they're going to want to win for McCain, who's in the pocket of all the neoconservatives currently running the government and the continuity of government. So there are a variety of occasions coming up for these people to use this anthrax and panic the American people either towards war, towards a police state, or towards electing the presidential candidate they want.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. We've got a few stations that are about to join us when we come back out of this segment. So we're going to plug the book again. I want everybody out there to get it, because this is life and death. I mean, it is a military culture to sacrifice pawns, and they have just gotten way too fast and loose. It's not enough to kill 1.2 million Iraqis. It's not enough to bomb Serbia into the Stone Age with DU. You know, they see us as absolute cattle, folks, and this sick culture has got to be stopped. We're coming back live right now. Dr. Francis Boyle has a book out on the anthrax attacks, a scholarly, detailed book that everyone needs to get out to their friends and family. This is life and death. If we don't expose these people, they're going to use terror attacks to completely overthrow the country and have a continuity of government system that even dominates Congress. Hell, Bush has even taken authority away from Homeland Security to himself. It's unprecedented dark times, and I don't take pleasure fighting these people. I know. I mean, it is. I don't even have fear. I just know, man, this is serious. I don't like messing with these people, but I have to. You can't give in to them. And Dr. Boyle, we just commend you. The old 5,000-year-old system of sacrificing pawns, going back to being invented in India. Generals will sacrifice 1,000, 10,000, 20,000 troops to draw an enemy in over a ridge, thinking it's a larger force to then have their army behind the hill crush them, knowing it's going to kill their own force. In archery training, it's not just in the movie Braveheart, but it's historical cases of where different armies in Japan, in Europe proper, in Africa, the Egyptians would fire on their own troops to kill some of the other troops. That's an idea. Collateral damage. And it's nothing to the war planners running our country for the big banks to mail out some anthrax and kill some people. It's nothing for them to kill kids now, to kill 1.2 million Iraqis, as I said. And we better realize that what's done to the Iraqis will be done to us. You reap what you sow. Dr. Boyle, can you speak to that idea and then plug your book?
Well, sure. I went to the University of Chicago with all these neoconservatives. Wolfowitz was there, Chalabi, Khalilzad, Shulsky, all the rest of them. They were getting their PhDs, and I was getting my undergraduate degree, later got my PhD from Harvard. I went through the exact same program that produced all these neocons, the political science department, Leo Strauss, the godfather of the neocons. His mentor and sponsor in Germany was Professor Carl Schmitt, who went on to become the most notorious Nazi law professor of that benighted era and justified every hideous atrocity the Nazis inflicted on anyone, including the Jews.
And now his grandchildren are Alberto Gonzalez and the current Attorney General Mukasey and John Yoo.
That's correct. That we have to understand, Alex, that and they tried to train me to become one of these people.
Don't you have the special PhD? They only give one a year from Harvard. Don't you have the Kissinger PhD?
Yeah, I went through the same program that Kissinger did. Indeed, at the Center for International Affairs, they gave me Kissinger's old office. His file cabinets were sitting there when I moved in. But the point is, we have to understand these neoconservatives, then, are in fact neo-Nazis. And this is a neo-Nazi mentality that has taken over our government. And these are the people making these decisions, and that then gets back to why they have no problem unleashing an anthrax attack on the American people in Congress. Indeed, they're anti-democratic.
Professor Boyle, I can go into overdrive on this radio show, but I don't want to keep you. The show's over in 1 minute, but I want to extend the show for 10 minutes, commercial-free, just for the Internet streams, but that's hundreds of thousands listening on the Internet and on tens of thousands later spread out on video. Can you do 10 more minutes right now just so you can finish this statement?
Sure.
Okay, we're going to go into overdrive. I want to thank the Genesis Network and all the affiliates. If you go to Infowars.com, only on those audio streams, and PrisonPlanet.tv on the video, we're going to continue with an addendum. It's not just the anthrax attacks, but who they are, the mindset that allows them to engage in this type of behavior. And so, again, you need to go to one place, Infowars.com, to click on those streams right now with Dr. Boyle. Don't forget my new film, Fabled Enemies, that I produced, that Jason Burmis has directed. You can pre-order it now. It comes out in 10 days. Infowars.com as well. Great job, everybody. Stay with us. Infowars.com. Dr. Boyle, I'm only going to keep you for T-minus 10 minutes. You have the floor completely. Talk about your PhD with these guys, the mindsets, being around them, this cold-blooded, divorced from reality, divorced from conscience, this might makes right, survival of the fittest, this Nazi type or Malthusian amalgamation that we're facing right now.
Right. Well, as I was saying, I was trained to be a neoconservative at the University of Chicago by Strauss's co-author and literary executor later, Joseph Cropsey. Strauss had just retired when I showed up there.